Hey, everybody, welcome to NFL Fantasy Live. Patrick Claybon, glad to be here with Marcus Grant and Adam Rank, reminding you to go to NFL.com/fantasy, sign up for a league because it's draft week. It's draft week, and we're drafting on our phones, computers. Ideal draft thing and location. Where do you want to be to have a draft, Marcus?
I mean, ideally, I'd like to be like in my computer, in my little dojo drafting. But, you know, life intervenes, and most of the time I'm like cooking dinner and I'm on the phone or like doing family things while I'm drafting. Yes.
I don't think anything replaces an in-person draft. I think that's the best way to do it. I had one over the weekend out there in Las Vegas, and it was a ton of fun, and we're going to have one this weekend out in the city of Corona. So there's nothing that replaces those experiences.
One thing that happens especially when you're doing multiple drafts, the thing that happens all the time is you end up with players that are the same players across different leagues because you're the one that's doing the drafting. And so sometimes if you have those guys, it'll make you, or it'll absolutely crush you in your spirits and your hopes and dreams. So let's give the people some players that are going to make or break you, Marcus, this fantasy football season.
One of them is Rashad White down there in Tampa Bay. And White turned out to be a much better fantasy option last year than I anticipated him being, in part because at some point, Dave Canales and the Bucs realized we can't run it effectively, so we're just going to throw it to you. And his value went up because he was getting all these targets and all these catches. Dave Canales is gone. Liam Cohen is now in as the offensive coordinator. And running backs have never been a big part of Cohen's passing game, either when he was with the Rams or when he was at the University of Kentucky. So new offense, new run scheme. How does Rashad White fit into that? If he can run the ball effectively, I think he's going to be great for you at RB14. If that doesn't happen and the Bucs struggle to run the ball again, it could really be a disaster in fantasy. The other guy that's sort of make or break for me is going to be Deebo Samuel. And this is look, Deebo is an excellent football player. What he does for the 49ers is invaluable. But because of the way this offense is and the number of guys that they have, whether it's him, whether it's Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle, whomever it may be, sometimes they just don't need Deebo Samuel to have the ball in his hands on any given week. So there will be highs, there will be lows. You just hope there are more of those peaks than those valleys, because if there are too many valleys, then you're going to be really frustrated.
One of the players I really wanted the most coming into this draft season was Dalton Kincaid. And I think for about the first 10 or 12 drafts I did not get him. But in one of my drafts over the weekend, I finally got Dalton Kincaid, and it felt so good to finally bring him back to part of the squad. Last season was the second most targeted player in this Bills offense. 160 targets have been vacated by Stephon Diggs. And I know a lot of you are like, where's Dawson Knox? You know what? Dawson Knox played the final 3 games of last season with Dalton Kincaid, and Dalton Kincaid outscored him every time. Even though Dawson Knox was vulturing touchdowns, Dalton Kincaid was still getting the targets and the receptions. This is the guy to have in this offense. And another guy that I need to have in an offense is Cooper Kupp. And I tried to explain to people that the price for Cooper Kupp is rising. And of course, the Twitter being what it is like, nope, you're dumb. I will never take him. He's descending. You're like, he's descending. Last season, he had touchdowns in 3 of his last 4 games. He showed at the end of last year that he still has it. He is still going to be the most targeted player in this offense. And for anybody who's worried about his age, there are plenty of examples of guys over 30 who've done well. Mike Evans last year, Keenan Allen last year, Devontae Adams last year, Adam Thielen again, Adam Thielen, Marvin Jones. Get out of the idea that somebody's age or he might get hurt. Yeah, everybody in the league, Mike, that goes for everybody. Last year, hold on, come back on the camera. No, we're going to finish this. We're going to finish this. Because last year, people weren't drafting Christian McCaffrey because the injury concerns. So I'm going to take the safe pick with a young ascending player named Justin Jefferson, who played 10 games, less games than CMC. If your whole draft philosophy is like this guy might get injured, I'm sorry, that applies to everybody in the league who's ever played a down of football. Don't be scared off by that. Cooper Kupp, a definite second rounder, and you should not pass it.
Yeah, unless Wolverine and Bruce Banner are on your draft boards, right?
Well, Deadpool's like that.
Yeah, exactly. Wade Wilson.
Those are the options.
Quarterback.
Other than that, all of these people could possibly be injured. There was an injury last year for Christian Kirk, and the Jaguars' offense imploded. It was not good for the Jags, and somehow Christian Kirk is the wide receiver 31 coming off of core muscle surgery. It's causing him to fall. It's also caused me to continue to draft him because he's carried my teams the past couple of years. Completely comfortable with Christian Kirk coming back off the injury. I know he's going to get flooded with targets. And then there's this Raheem Mostert situation in Miami,
Here it is.
where apparently we're projecting Devon Achane to essentially be Jahmyr Gibbs. People are seeing Devon Achane and Jahmyr Gibbs as kind of the same situation. And Raheem Mostert is going like 7 running backs behind David Montgomery, the guy who led the league in rushing touchdowns last year. It was not that long ago. If he doesn't live up to that, it's not going to hurt me. If it's absolutely horrible, it will break me, but I'm completely comfortable getting Raheem Mostert at RB 25
Great value.
right now.
Amen.